This 82-year-old veteran walks into Judge Caprio's courtroom for a simple parking ticket. But when he rolls up his sleeves and reveals what's been hidden for 60 years, Judge Caprio does something that no judge in American history has ever done before. I'm telling you right now, what you're about to witness will leave you completely speechless. This story broke the internet, made grown men cry, and changed laws in multiple states. But before we start, only 4% of you watching are actually subscribed, so smash that subscribe button because this story is about to blow up everywhere, and you don't want to miss what happens next. Trust me when I say this. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this single moment in a Providence courtroom became one of the most shared videos in internet history. It's a cold Tuesday morning in February, and Providence Municipal Court is buzzing with the usual activity. Judge Frank Caprio, the 76-year-old judge who's become famous worldwide for his compassionate rulings, is handling his typical morning docket: parking violations, traffic tickets, small municipal infractions. At exactly 10:15 a.m., the courtroom doors open slowly, and in walks 82-year-old Robert "Tank" Johnson. Tank moves carefully with his walking cane, each step deliberate and measured. He's wearing a heavy winter coat, despite the warm courtroom, and his hands shake slightly as he removes his military-style cap. Tank is here for what seems like the most routine case imaginable: a $75 parking ticket for parking in a handicapped space without displaying his permit. On paper, this looks like it should take maybe 3 minutes to resolve. Pay the fine, explain the situation, move on with life. But, guys, before I tell you what happens next, I need to know something. Where are you watching this incredible story from? Drop your city and country in the comments below because I'm genuinely curious how far around the world this story is going to spread. Are you watching from New York, London, Tokyo? Let me know down there. As Tank approaches the defendant's stand, Judge Caprio immediately notices something that most people would miss. Despite being 82 years old, despite needing a walking cane, despite the obvious frailty that comes with age, this man stands with absolutely perfect military posture. Shoulders back, chin up, eyes forward. There's something unmistakable about the way he carries himself. Once a Marine, always a Marine. "Robert Johnson," the court clerk calls out, reading from the docket. Tank steps forward as much as he can, gripping his cane with both hands now. Judge Caprio looks down at the paperwork, then back up at Tank with those compassionate eyes that have made him famous around the world. "Mr. Johnson," Judge Caprio begins, his voice gentle but official. "You're charged with parking in a handicapped space without displaying a handicap permit. The violation occurred on February 8th at approximately 2 p.m. outside the Veterans Administration Medical Center. The fine is $75. Tank nods slowly. "Yes, Your Honor." "Now, Mr. Johnson, I see here that you're 82 years old. Do you have a handicap permit?" Tank, and when he speaks, his voice carries the unmistakable cadence of someone who spent decades giving and receiving orders. "Yes, Your Honor. I do have one. I forgot to hang it up that day." Now, guys, Judge Caprio has been on the bench for over 30 years. He has heard this exact excuse probably 1,000 times. Usually, he'd ask to see the permit, maybe reduce the fine if the person actually has one, and move on to the next case. Standard procedure, nothing unusual. But something about Tank's voice, something about the way he said those words, something about his entire demeanor, made Judge Caprio pause and look more carefully. "Can you tell me about your disability, Mr. Johnson? Help me understand why you need the handicap permit." Tank shifts uncomfortably. He looks down at his hands, then around the courtroom, then back up at Judge Caprio. For a long moment, he doesn't speak at all. "I'd rather not discuss it, Your Honor." Judge Caprio sets down his pen, always a sign that he's about to have a real human conversation, rather than just process paperwork. He leans forward slightly, his voice becoming even gentler, thoughtful. "Mr. Johnson, I can see you're a proud man. You carry yourself with dignity and strength, but I also sense you're struggling with something." Then Judge Caprio does something that's become his signature move when he senses someone is truly hurting. He stands up from his bench and walks around to the front, eliminating the formal barrier between judge and defendant. "Tank," he says, and the use of what's clearly a nickname makes Tank's eyes snap up in surprise. May I call you Tank? I can see you're military. The way you stand, the way you hold yourself. Which branch did you serve? Tank's entire body language transforms in that moment. His chest puffs out slightly. His shoulders square even more, and for the first time since entering the courtroom, there's a hint of a smile on his weathered face. Proudly, United States Marine Corps, Your Honor. 3 tours of duty. Thoughtful. 3 tours, Judge Caprio repeats. That's significant service, Tank. Can you tell me where? Tank takes a deep breath. Vietnam, from 1968 to 1970. Then much later, Iraq, from 2004 to 2005, and Afghanistan, from 2007 to 2008. Wait, did you catch that, guys? This 82-year-old man didn't just serve in Vietnam in his 20s. After living a full civilian life, after retiring, after reaching an age when most people are settling into peaceful retirement, he volunteered to go back into combat zones. He served in Iraq in his 60s and Afghanistan in his 70s. And guys, if this story is already hitting you emotionally, if you're starting to understand the incredible sacrifice this man made, please hit that like button. It really does help the algorithm push this story to more people who need to hear about Tank's service and sacrifice. Judge Caprio is clearly moved by this revelation. Surprised. Tank, you served our country in 3 different wars across 4 decades? Yes, sir. Sincerely, thank you for your service. That's extraordinary dedication to our country. Now, Tank, Judge Caprio continues, his voice full of respect, can you help me understand why you need the handicapped permit? What can I do to help you today? Tank looks around the courtroom again. There are maybe 30 people in the gallery. Other defendants waiting their turn, court officers, a few reporters, some family members of other cases. His hands start shaking more noticeably as he grips his cane. Your Honor, it's complicated. Judge Caprio takes another step closer. Tank, we're all friends here. There's no judgment in this courtroom. What's going on? Tank takes the deepest breath he's taken since entering the courtroom. Very slowly, almost reluctantly, he begins rolling up the sleeves of his heavy coat. What the courtroom sees next shocks everyone into absolute silence. Tank's arms are covered in scars. Deep, jagged scars from shrapnel wounds that tell the story of battles fought decades ago. But that's not what makes Judge Caprio's eyes widen in amazement. On Tank's right forearm, running from his wrist almost to his elbow, there's a tattoo unlike any military tattoo anyone has ever seen. It's not an eagle or an anchor or a flag. It's a list. A long, heartbreaking list of names in small, precise lettering. Tank, Judge Caprio asks, his voice barely above a whisper now. What are those names? Tank's voice breaks for the first time. After decades of carrying this burden in silence, after years of hiding this pain under long sleeves and winter coats, he's about to share his deepest truth. Those are my boys, Your Honor. Every Marine I lost under my command. 47 names across 3 wars. I carry them with me everywhere I go. The courtroom is dead silent. You could hear a pin drop. Court officers who have seen everything are wiping their eyes. Other defendants are staring in respectful amazement. The court reporter has stopped typing just to listen. But Tank isn't finished revealing his truth. The handicapped permit, Your Honor. It's not for physical wounds. I mean, yes, my legs don't work like they used to, and my back is shot from carrying gear for so many years. But that's not why I really need it. It's for the days when the ghosts are so loud I can barely function. When I'm having a panic attack in a parking lot and I need to get inside quickly before I completely break down in public. When the flashbacks hit so hard that I can't walk straight, can't think straight, can't remember where I am or what year it is. Judge Caprio's eyes fill with tears. Tank, You're telling me you have post-traumatic stress disorder from serving our country in 3 different wars? Yes, sir. Most days I'm fine. I get up, I make my coffee, I do my physical therapy exercises, I live my life. But some days, the memories of watching my boys die, the sound of mortars, the smell of gunpowder and blood.
That parking ticket you're holding, Your Honor. February 8th was one of my worst days in months. I was sitting in my truck outside the VA hospital, having flashbacks so bad I thought I was back in Fallujah. All I could think about was getting to my therapy appointment before I completely lost it. I forgot about the permit, forgot about the rules, forgot about everything except getting help. What Judge Caprio does next has never happened in American legal history. What he does breaks every rule of courtroom protocol and creates a moment that will be remembered forever. He walks over to Tank and slowly, deliberately, he begins removing his black judicial robe. Tank, I want you to put this on. The courtroom. Tank looks confused, almost frightened. Your Honor, I can't do that. That's your robe. I'm just a defendant. Judge Caprio's voice becomes firm but filled with emotion. You're not just a defendant, Tank. You're not just anything. Put on the robe, Marine. With shaking hands, Tank allows Judge Caprio to drape the judicial robe over his shoulders. The heavy black fabric hangs on his frail frame, but somehow, wearing it, he looks more dignified than ever. Then, Judge Caprio does something even more incredible. Standing in his shirt sleeves in his own courtroom, Judge Frank Caprio salutes Robert Tank Johnson, a federal judge, saluting a defendant in his own courtroom. Ladies and gentlemen, Judge Caprio announces to the packed courtroom, his voice carrying to every corner of the room, I want you to look at real American heroism. This man volunteered to serve our country not once, not twice, but 3 times across 6 decades of his life. He carries the names of fallen heroes on his skin and their memory in his heart. He has sacrificed more for our freedom than most of us can even imagine. And he came here today worried about a $75 parking ticket. The entire courtroom of people are crying, standing up. Some are saluting along with Judge Caprio. The court officers are clapping. Other defendants are on their feet. The sound of applause fills the courtroom for nearly 2 full minutes. Tank stands there in the judge's robe down his weathered face, overwhelmed by this recognition he never expected and probably felt he didn't deserve. But Judge Caprio isn't finished. Tank, not only am I dismissing this fine completely, but I'm making you an honorary member of this court. Anytime you need help, anytime the ghosts get too loud, anytime the system fails you, you call us. This courtroom will always have your back. And Tank, those 47 names on your arm, they're not just your burden anymore. This whole courtroom family is going to help you carry that weight. Guys, I need to pause here for just a moment. If you're not subscribed to this channel yet, what are you waiting for? Stories like this, stories that remind us what real heroism looks like, stories that restore our faith in humanity. This is exactly why this channel exists. Hit that subscribe button right now. What happened after this video was posted online will restore your faith in the power of human compassion. Within 24 hours, the clip had been viewed over 5 million times. Within 48 hours, Tank had received over 10,000 letters from veterans, active duty military, and civilians from around the world, all thanking him for his service and sacrifice. A GoFundMe campaign started by a complete stranger raised over $500,000 specifically for veteran PTSD programs in Tank's name. 3 major corporations, IBM, Microsoft, and General Motors, contacted Tank directly, offering him consulting positions to help them better understand and support their veteran employees. The Department of Veterans Affairs used Tank's story to launch a new awareness campaign about veteran mental health services. But here's the most incredible part of all. 6 months later, Tank returned to Judge Caprio's courtroom. Not as a defendant this time, but as a volunteer counselor, helping other veterans navigate the legal system and connect with the resources they need. Tank told reporters, thoughtful,
Judge Caprio didn't just dismiss a parking ticket that day. He reminded me that my service mattered, that my brothers who didn't make it home mattered, that I wasn't just some broken old man taking up space in the world. He gave me a reason to keep fighting, not just for myself, but for all the other veterans who are struggling in silence. Today, Tank speaks at high schools and colleges about military service and veteran mental health. He's helped over 200 veterans get connected with proper care and support, and he still carries those 47 names on his arm, but now he also carries the knowledge that their sacrifice has meaning and purpose. And guys, I have one final question for you, and I really want you to think about this and answer in the comments below. What's the most powerful act of kindness you've ever witnessed? What's a moment when someone showed compassion that changed everything? Drop your stories in the comments, because after hearing about Tank and Judge Caprio, we all need to hear more examples of good in this world. If this story moved you, if Tank's sacrifice and Judge Caprio's compassion touched your heart, share this video with someone who needs to hear it today. Like this video if you believe in honoring our veterans. Subscribe for more incredible human stories that remind us what's possible when we choose kindness over indifference. And remember, sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is simply acknowledge someone's sacrifice and let them know their service matters. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.